Hi guys, my name is Devansh Chaurasiya. I will be training you on Power BI. Power BI is a tool from Microsoft. It is largely used for business intelligence workflow, query editing, data preparation, data modeling, reporting, dashboarding, and analytics. But it is known best for its visualization. Most of my training on Microsoft tools are from zero to advanced in 2 hours. However, I will be taking you to the advanced level in 4 hours in Power BI, right? First 3 hours will be very crucial to set the foundation and to move to the intermediate level, right? Once you have reached the intermediate level within 3 hours, even if you stop the training after that, you will still be able to move ahead and make progress on your own just by exploring the tool, right? We will be taking a project based approach. Our journey will be like I will be giving you an overview, and then I will be telling you how to connect the data, like how to load the data, how to edit the data, how to prepare the data connection, how to transform the data using query editor, how to do the modeling. We'll be covering the star data modeling and snowflake data modeling. Then we'll be creating the visualization, then creating reports and dashboards, and using a couple of inbuilt capabilities of Power BI on analytics. Couple of scenarios that we will be working on is like generating the KPI, sales revenue, profit margin, profits, revenue, capturing the trend, and forecasting for the future. Right now, let us do one thing. Let us start from the basic. Let us launch Power BI. Now, to launch the Power BI, the easiest way is I hit on Windows and I type Power BI, and here it is. I click on it. I'll wait for it to launch. Okay, so this is how it will be launching. In the meantime, if you do not have Power BI, let me walk you through that where you can load it. So you can actually go to powerbi.microsoft.com, and this is where you can actually download it for free, right? We will be developing these kind of visuals, these kind of dashboard. And if we take a look at the recent quadrant created by Gartner, it puts or it places Microsoft as the leading tool for visualization and reporting, especially for business intelligence, right? Tableau is following up, though it was number one few years back. And if you look at ClickView, it is lagging behind, though it was one of the foremost tool that came in the market, but it is lagging behind a lot. Now, as we see that our Power BI tool has come up over here, this portion actually gives us that what are the recent, these are the recent reports that I had opened. So it's just showing in the history. I can click on this, open other reports. It will show me the list of reports, which I don't want to click right now. And here you see what's new. It will take you to the web page of Microsoft. Then we have a couple of forums on Power BI. You can explore it. We have some wonderful blogs, official blogs from Microsoft and few other industry experts on Power BI. I encourage you to subscribe for this. We have few tutorials from Microsoft, and on the right, sorry, on the left, we see two options: the recent sources that we had used and get data. Right on the top right corner, we see name Devansh Chaurasiya. This is because I have logged in. However, to use Power BI, it is not necessary, it is not mandatory to log in. But then, if you do not log in, you will not be able to share and collaborate with other users if you want to. So I encourage you to create a login for Power BI. Let me close it. Now, this is how Power BI looks. If you look at this portion, let me redo. Give me one moment, please. So this part is called tab. I will be using the similar nomenclature or terminologies that I've used in my previous training, and these are the standard terminology which Microsoft uses. These are called tabs, and under each tab, there is a tab specific ribbon. So right now we are under home tab and I have a home specific ribbon. And for home specific, this largely we have to get the data and transform and few other things. If I click on insert, let me undo that. Under insert, we have insert specific ribbon. And then under modeling, we have modeling specific ribbon and view and help. Now, these tabs are contextual and these are dynamic. Let me give you an instance. Right now, we see 6 tabs: File, Home, Insert, Modeling, View, and Help. Now, if I go to Insert and I click on Image, let me close this. Let me click on Shape and let me insert a rectangle. So, a rectangle is inserted on the left side, top left corner. Now, you see, instead of ending at Help, we have 2 more tabs: Format and Data Drill, which are very specific to one of the action that we just took. We inserted a shape, right? That's why we have a shape specific tab format. And under format, we have format specific ribbon, and then we have data drill. Now, I want to get rid of it. It's as simple as that. I select it and I click on delete, and it's gone. Now, let us take a look at the backend. I click on file. Now, if I click on file, you see I have a number of Power BI reports which I had used earlier. Right? These are the name 10 to 5. You can name it whatever you want. You can name it XYZ training report. I just named it 5 for some other reason. Right? You can click on here. You can browse the report and you can double click, like it will take you to the normal browse page. It'll just double click on the system, whichever on the screen, whichever report you want to pick, and it will just open it up. Save as. Um, I'm not covering it because I'm sure that if you have reached Power BI, I'm sure you are aware of this. Get data is the option. It gives us many options to pick the data from various sources. Few of the very important and very frequently used options are Excel and CSV. But you can pull the data by connecting it through the web page or through the SQL server. Or if you have a Power BI data set or Power BI data flow that you have already created for some other report, you can connect to that directly from here, right? You can also click on it, get data to get started. Some industry dummy data is basically not exactly dummy. Some data is the actual data, like the previous weather data or the lake height data or rainfall data, precipitation data. These are the actual data which is available in various sources. You'll be able to pick it up or pull it up from here. You can actually pull it up from the web as well. We will be using in the current scenario, in the current training, we'll be using CSV or Excel, right? And then we have options and settings. Before I jump onto options and setting, if you remember, if I click on about, it gives you the version Microsoft Power BI Desktop, and this is my version. Let me close it. Let me click on file, come back to the backstage and click on get started. I'll show you that yellow page. So this is a yellow page that you actually get when you launch the Power BI. Let me close it, go back to file, click on options and settings one more time, and I have data source setting and I have options. Let me click on options. And if I click on options, I will get this page, which has not even come up. Okay, here it is. In here, at the bottom, we have regional setting. And in this, make sure that we have English United States. Oh, let me click on English. look for you. Here it is. Look for United States. Click on OK again. Then I have to click on yeah. I could have done it both together. I for some reason I don't prefer that. And then I need to make one more change on data load. When you click on data load, make sure that this is unchecked. Auto detect new relationship. Okay. Auto detect new relationship after data is loaded. I don't want Power BI to auto detect the relationship. We will be doing it altogether manually. Click on OK. Done. Now we already checked these are the tabs. Under that we have tab specific ribbon. These tabs are dynamic, and on our right side, extreme right, we have fields. We can actually search the field if we want to. We have various options to create our visuals, right? And then we have a couple of options for drill down, creating filters. And then on the extreme left, we see that we have three options. The very first option is for report. The second option, let me click on it. Nothing happens because we are already in the report page. Second option is for data. You don't see anything because we have not loaded any data. Third option is for data modeling, right? We haven't loaded any data, so of course not any data modeling. Down here is, these are called the pages, exactly the way we have in Excel. And in the same way, the way we operate Excel, in the same way we can add one more page. One more page, I can delete it, right click, delete. It'll ask me yes or no. Okay, delete. I can just cross it over here also, delete. Or I could have just renamed also. Let me right click and rename page 1. Click outside is rename. Okay. Now let us get some hands dirty and let's load the data and start working on it. To do that, I can go back to my plain screen or the previous screen. This is for charts. This is what, if you share your Power BI report with anyone, this is what they see. Now to load the data, I can directly get onto get data. I have all these options, or I can be on file and click on get data. Again, I have these options. Whichever way you like. This is right in front of us. I click on CSV, and here I can load the data. I can double click on this, just search for the folder, and I pick this file, this products, let it load, and this is how it will look like. It tells me that it is a comma separated file. If it is wrong, I have option to change it or correct it. It's perfect. It also tells me that it can detect what is the data type of the data that we have based on the first 200 rows. I can select all, but that will take too much of time and it does not make any sense because my data is structured data. I can now directly click on load or cancel. However, I want to transform the data. I want to check what data is or how it is, if it is correct or not, instead of directly loading the data. All right. So if you see here, Power BI intelligently has already picked up that whether the data, or what is the characteristic of the data. It tells me that it is integer. This is also integer. This is character. And let me use these bars to move horizontal and vertical up and down. Product name, model name, product description, product color, product size, and these are the integers. Now, if you look at product size, in the first view itself, we can see there are characters as well as numbers, right? This is not the right data that we can work upon, but Power BI picks it as character. Now it is not correct, so this data is not useful data for us. I can either fix it or I can delete it. In the current scenario, we will not be drilling down on or creating any kind of business intelligence or analytics report on the basis of product size. So I want to delete it. One way of deleting is I am already under home tab. In the ribbon, I have column. Remove this column. I can use this. But fortunately or unfortunately, I'm not sure which way, but since 2002, I am using Excel on day-to-day basis. So most of my movement will be very similar to the way I use Excel. So in Excel, I don't go to the ribbon all the time because Excel provides me a couple of shortcuts on the click away, right? So similarly, Power BI also provides the similar kind of options because the engine on which Power Excel and Power BI are made is the similar engine, right? Now to remove this, I can just click here and remove. Done. Now, if you see, as soon as I remove this, there is one step which is added, removed columns, right? Now, there is no control Z. Uh, there's no control Z, just the way we have in Excel. So if I want a column back, I cannot get it back. If I press control Z, nothing happens. So, but in Power BI, the control Z is I, if I cross this step, now see, I get my product size back. And that step is gone. So whatever changes, whatever transformation or whatever thing I'm doing with my data or whichever step I'm doing, whichever action I'm taking, it is recording over here on the right hand side, right? So you see there are three steps. I went to the source, promoted the header, changed type, and then once the data was loaded, I right clicked on it and I removed it. Now you notice here that removed column. I can right click on this. I can rename. For the future reference, removed columns. Removed what? Removed product size, not columns, product size column. Now I want the name to be as small as possible so that it is easily visible. So I will write PDT. These are the kind of short forms I had learned while I was doing MBA back in 2004. Removed product size column. And I press enter and done. So I know that the fourth step was I removed the product size column, right? Now we see that we have this data ready. I don't want to do any kind of transformation right now. So what I will do is I will click on close and apply. I can just close it. So this step will not be saved. I can just apply it, but I want to close and apply. You must be wondering why it is not apply and close, why it is close and apply. The reason being is first it closes that particular view, the data view, and then it applies the changes. Now, if you see on the right hand side, we have all the extreme right, all the headers of the data is right here. Model name, product color, product cost, description, key, and SKU style, right? And it also tells me that these are the numeric ones because we have a summation mark over here. Now, let us do one thing. Let us load another set of data. So I go to get data, I go to text CSV, and it takes me to the same folder. This PC desktop Power BI Hunger Games training files. Okay, by the way, this is the name of my folder. I don't know why I named it like this, Hunger Games. You can just name it whatever you like it. Maybe I was just watching a movie on Hunger Games and I typed that CSV file. Okay, now we just loaded product. Let us load customers data. Now, if you look at, we have exactly the similar kind of screen that we had got earlier. We will be getting this screen every time we load a data, and it gives us two options, same, load, transform, and cancel. Again, I go to transform data. Let's wait for a while. Okay, now on the top here, this is a very similar kind of bar that we are used to see in Excel. This is called the formula bar, right? And I can I can change the query directly over here, but I don't want to do that because it's a visualization tool and it's not a very query oriented tool. So I can still do things on the click of a mouse, right? Now, let us take a look at the columns that we have available. We have customer key, prefix, first name, last name, birth date. Okay, in the last data when we loaded, we saw that it was automatically picking up the integer and characters. Now, this is a very good option, birth date. You see that whenever there's a character, it writes ABC, and for integer, it writes or mentions 1, 2, 3. For date of birth, it has picked up the calendar icon, right? Now, if we scroll further on the right, we see one of the column, it has dollar sign, which means it has already picked up the currency. This particular column was defined as a currency. This must be 10,000 US dollar or $10,000, right? Now, let's scroll in the starting and let's click on transform. So under transform, now as we have data, we see there are um, too many options we have uh, under transform tab. This is called the ribbon area, and add column. We have these many options: view, tools, and help. Now, important thing to note is under transform and under add column, you will see there are many options which are very similar, and you'll be confused that hey, why do we have similar options under transform and add column? One of the easiest way to understand is when you transform, when you use transform, you are actually transforming the same column, the actual raw data. Let me give you an example. I am going to transform and I click on format and I click on capitalize each word. Now you see it has transformed my existing column. Now I want to do this as well as this. So I can do it one by one, or in Excel, how you'll do, you'll just click it and use Control or Shift. If it is side by side, I can use Shift, right? Select these two and you click on Format, capitalize each word. Now, if I had used add column, let me do add column and repeat what I had done. I had gone to format and I had done capitalize each word, right? Let me say this time, let me say uppercase. So what happens is it did not transform this in uppercase. It added a column with all the prefix in uppercase. So that's the difference between transform and add column. If you use transform, you're transforming the existing column. If you're doing add column, you're actually creating a copy of that original column and then doing the transformation. So you'll have one extra or two extra, however you have defined your action. So you'll have extra columns. Now I don't want this. I can right click and remove, but if I, okay, let me show another example. So we have inserted uppercase text. Now if I right click on it and I remove, you see I have one more step, remove column. Now theoretically you have achieved what you wanted, but practically this is not the best way, because when you will save this file and open it, Microsoft or Power BI will run all the steps that we have done. So what it will do is after this step, capitalized each word, what it's going to do, it is going to add a column inside uppercase text or prefix, and then it is going to delete it. That is going to cost you time. So better way would have been, if I did not want that column here, I should have just undone my action. I have still achieved what I wanted, but here I am two steps less. So we must strive to achieve the end result with as minimum or as less steps as possible, right? Now let me give you another example where let's assume that we need the full name of the user. We don't have the full name in any of the column, right? Now let's say I want the full name, and one way to get the full name is I can add here. It's called in Excel. I would have done just concatenate here. I need to select these three and I click on transform and go to merge. But the problem is I don't want to do this. I don't want to transform the existing column. I want to, at the end, as the end result, I want to have these three columns with separate values, and I want an extra column with the full name. So I go to add column, I select these three, I click on merge column. Now I get this pop-up box. Okay, it came now. The separator, how do I want to separate it? If I say no separator, it will just mr dot lonyamg. It's not right. So I want to separate it by space, merged, new column name. I want the new column name, full name, full name. And I click on OK. It added one step, inserted merged column. I go to the right, I see a column, full name, with the separator as a space, and I have one step added here, inserted merged column. I want to right click and rename it just for my future reference. I want to write inserted full name column, enter. Now I don't want, I actually want to rename, so I can just right click, go to the bottom, write full name. I want to write user's full name, enter. User's full name, renamed column. But you see, the mistake is when I had an option to merge the column, it gave me an option to write the name there itself. I wrote the column name as full name, but now I want to change it. So I am adding one step. Again, the reason why I demonstrated is it is important for us to do it right the very first time. Let me undo my, okay, full name is fine. Okay, now we already have full name. Now let us say I want the username. Okay, for that I can click on, I can select this email address. I'm already under add column. I can go to extract. What do I want to extract? I want to extract the username, first characters, last characters, or a range from 2 to 4 or 2 to 5. No, that won't be dynamic, right? That will be a very static kind of thing, and that doesn't fit here in the case of email. So I'll be using an identifier in delimiter, text before the delimiter, and here my delimiter is at the rate, and I click on OK. I go for the right, and you see I have text before delimiter. Okay, I can, if I want to place it next to the email, I can actually click it, hold it, and drag it towards the left. Okay, right here. You see, it is as simple as that, just like Excel. Now, let me give you another example. I want to extract using text between delimiter. So my first delimiter is, okay, let me cancel it. I want to undo this reordered column. I don't want to unnecessarily add the steps. Okay, let me right click. So let me select it. Let me go to text delimiter, and I want data from start from at the rate and at dot, or I can write .com. It wouldn't make any difference. And I click on OK. Click on come to extreme right. I say dummy mail, right? I don't want this hyphen. I come over here and I don't want to add another column. I just want to transform the existing column, correct? And what do I want to do? I want to replace. So I look for replace, where it is. So here it is. And value to find what I want to replace. What I want to replace hyphen with what, with nothing. So I click on OK, and I get the domain name, dummy mail. Correct. So the reason why I give you these options is because it is as simple as using an Excel. You just have to understand what you want to do and then convert that what you want in the Excel language or Power BI language, because both languages are very similar. Convert that into the right terminology and then look for that in the ribbon. Correct. We have two more options over here that I'll be covering in later: index column and duplicate column and conditional column. Index column is very similar to, like, if you want to create an index, which is like creating a unique ID. Uh, it can start from 0, 1. If you're feeling crazy, you can start from some uh, Zen number if you want or if you require. Conditional column, I'll be covering. I don't know why I clicked it. Okay, so okay, we are in customer. Let me give you an example, or yeah, an example of this, how to use a conditional column when we are on the products table. Let me cancel it for now. Now, what I want to do is, let me go ahead, add one more table. For that, I need to go back to home, close and apply. It's working on it. There are pending changes in your query that haven't been applied. Apply query changes. Okay. If I want to see the data, I can just right click on, I can just click on it. Now, when we come over here, we see that we can actually, we have two tables, the tables that we loaded, product and customers, and we are under transform. Right now, let me go to products and let's do a few more changes, basic changes. Product cost and product price, I want to round it off. So, and I want to round off this particular column. I don't want to create another column, so I will be under transform. I'll come to rounding. I can do round up, round down, but I have a specific requirement that I want to round it to decimal. I'll just type 2 and I click on OK. And there are a couple of more functions that we can perform on this. Let me select just one column, product cost, and let's say I want to see the average cost of it. So what I can do is I can see what is the average cost. So it tells me that 413 is the average cost. But what should I do with this information? Because it just gives me one particular data, right? So let me cross it and undo that. Let's say I um, let's say I do, this is the only requirement I had. Now let me do close and apply. And once I do close and apply, I come on this particular data relations. This is data relation view or the data model view. And I have these two uh, tables, product and customers. And over here, this I can click here and I can see the tables that are available. So till now, we have not created any data model because we have not done the data modeling. We have not connected these. To do that, let me go further ahead and add another set of data, that is calendar. And this is available. Let me click on transform the data before loading it. So this is the query editor part, and it says query setting, and these are the three already applied steps. As soon as I load the data, this bar is called the function bar or formula bar. And now I have three tables: product, customer, and calendar. Now I select calendar and I come to add column. I come to date over here because this is date data. and I click on this and I add name of the day. And then I need few more data columns and I go to week and I click on start of week, right? Now, one thing that we have to notice here, 28/12/2014. Now 28/12/2014 is Sunday, start of the week. By default in Power BI it starts from Sunday. Now I don't want it to start from Sunday. Let's assume that in my company my week starts from Monday. In that case, in this query over here, start of the week date, right? Now what I can do is I can just click here and I can put a comma and say 1. Now you see how it is going to change. It's 28/12/2014 and I hit enter. You see 1 means Monday. In Power BI and Excel, the 1 is Monday. So now my week is starting from Monday. If I want my week to be starting from Tuesday, I just type 2 and I hit enter. Now it's starting from 2nd of like Tuesday of every week. The easier way to make this query more readable is I can write day dot it auto suggest. I can select Monday. I come here and I hit enter. You see it automatically changed to 29. So I can actually define by which day I want my week to start. Right now, let me add a few more things. I would need start of the month. Okay, and I will require month name of month. Then I will require start of year, and I will require year. Okay, so we have day name. Do we have day name? Okay, we have day name, we have start of the week, and we have start of the month name, and then we have year. And yeah, so we will actually require this date column because we will be in the future doing drill down to obtain number to get number for sales by week, by month, and by year. Okay, now let's come back to home and click on close and apply. And it is applying. So we will see one more table over here. Now these three will be my tables for lookup, right? Now let me add some data over here. Data is also called facts over here. And but before that, let me also cover few more stuff. I mentioned that we will be covering on conditional columns. So let's go to the data again. I can click on transform data and it will take me to this page where I have by default the very first data, product, customer, and calendar, whichever I require. So let us do let's create a conditional column in customers table, and for that I require to add another column. I don't want to transform the same column, right? Because I want to keep my data static, the actual raw data for further reference. So I can actually click on conditional column, and which column do am I looking for? So I'm looking for, let me cancel that. Let me move right. Look for order quantity. Okay, let's look into product. I can actually make it down. Okay, now for product, let's look for product quantity. Okay, we don't have product quantity. So let us do one thing. Let's add one more data. Let me do close and apply. Let me add another data for sales 2017. Okay, we have the order numbers over here, order quantity, right? I don't want to do any transformation of the data, but it's good habit to always click on transform data and to make sure that the data characteristics are perfectly captured by Power BI. So this is state, this is order quantity, it is in ABC. Let's click here and yes, and product key is in numbers, customer key is in number, territory key and order in line item and order quantity. Now we have order quantity in 1, 2, 3. So let us add one more column. Let's click on add column and click on conditional column and let us call it order quantity order quantity word. Now you see order quantity is already there. So if I'm trying to add the same column again, it will give me an error mark over here. So I can actually mark it 2. This will go off, but I want to name it order quantity variable or category, right? Let me make C as capital. And if order quantity operator is equal to 1, then my output is single. I can click on OK, but let me add one more clause. Else, if my order quantity is greater than 1, mark it multiple, right? Else, mark it. So let's assume that there is some data which is neither falling in either of these categories. Order quantity equals to 1, return single. If it is more than 1, return multiple. But if there is some weird data which doesn't fall in either of these two categories, I want Power BI to return me other. And I click on OK. So conditional columns are used uh, when we have to use conditions like if, else, then kind of. So once we have defined the condition, let me click on OK. So it added another column, order quantity category, and it says when there is 2, it gives me multiple. When it's single, there is 1. So this is perfect. But till now, we have learned how to move around in Power BI, like which option is available where. So we have tab, we have ribbon, we went to the backstage, we learned a couple of options over there, then we loaded the table, a couple of multiple tables, we learned how to transform the data, we learned how to edit the query, we learned a couple of options like replace, merge query, how to make it uppercase or lowercase, and a couple of statistical options available if we have selected some number column. We learn how to find out the difference between transform and add column, right? Um, yeah, we learned what is the meaning of index column, how to generate a column based on conditions. Duplicate is basically simple. We checked a couple of options on uppercase, lowercase, capitalize, right? And under transform, yeah, we learned a couple of things. In the next session, in the next training session, I will be teaching you on how to do the data modeling because right now we have 4 tables. We might add more. So customer, let's take a look. Customer table, it has more of the customer fundamental data, right? So these are called dimensions. Our customer data is the dimension, our product data is dimension, our calendar data is dimension. This is called fact, or just call it table. Sorry, just call it the data. So these are dimensions, and wherever the data is, we call it fact. All right. So in the next session, I will be covering or we will be capturing on data modeling, and then once data modeling is done, then in the third session, we'll be moving on to reports and visualizations. So I will be covering this training in five sessions. We have just covered the first one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I think I made it simple for you guys to understand. If you have any comment, you can drop me a mail on my mail ID, which is devansh.chaurasiya@yahoo.com. Thank you.